Welcome back. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association has a full staff in Washington, D.C., working hard every day on business and policy issues that matter to all cattle-producing families. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Russell Nemitz caught up to Tennessee cattle producer and NCBA Vice President Jennifer Houston to talk about these ongoing efforts. Russell?
Kevin, there's never a lack of issues impacting today's U.S. beef cattle industry, but luckily, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association always has boots on the ground, if you will, working on behalf of both of its members and non-members on these important issues. And one of those is a volunteer leader from Sweetwater, Tennessee, Jennifer Houston, and she's the NCBA's current vice president. Jennifer, as we talk about some of these big issues impacting today's beef cattle industry, what are some of the ones you're hearing from cattlemen and cattlewomen?
Well, as a market operator, obviously the market is the number one thing we hear about, and we're pleased to say, due to a lot of our work through the last year with the CME and the CFTC, we hope some of the volatility has stabilized a little bit. A lot of it's market cycles, but we have some optimism that it's going to be a good market this fall, and that always makes my producers happy.
Yep, markets and weather are still two of the biggest issues that affect our farmers and ranchers for sure. As far as other policy issues, what are you seeing on the radar for this fall?
Oh, a lot of exciting things. Under the new administration, we really have an opportunity to pursue some of the long-time issues that we've been working on, such as Endangered Species Act, tax reform for our public lands folks. We already have a win with the repeal of the BLM 2.0, which would have really impacted the way they do business. Lots of things are going on, and it's exciting to think we can really make a difference now.
If you had to pick one of these issues that you think is the biggest and most top of mind for you that NCBA is going to be working on, what would it be?
Well, probably the one I didn't mention, that's trade. Trade is absolutely key to us. We have a great domestic demand, which is wonderful. But as we continue to grow this cattle herd that we're doing now, which is great, we need to do it. We're going to have to sell to some of those 95% of the world's population that's outside the borders of the U.S. So as we celebrate our entry of beef back into China, we continue to work on our stable markets and our great markets like Japan, Korea, as well as developing new markets to take our high-quality beef product.
Absolutely, and as I said at the top of the segment, NCBA is working on all of these issues on behalf of both members and non-members, and just kind of goes without saying, it's a great organization to join so that they're represented every single day.
Absolutely. I cannot stress enough the importance of being a member of not only NCBA, but your state associations and to your local associations if you have them, because states have their own issues, and in politics, numbers talk, and the more members that we can represent, the bigger impact we can make. And as you just mentioned, we work on behalf of members and non-members, because if your parent dies and you're in an estate tax situation, it doesn't matter if you're a member or not. And we've done a lot of work on that, and we're still working for a full repeal of the death tax. So the things we do every day, we're going to be doing whether or not our guys are members, but we want to be able to have those numbers, and we want to be able to just have a solid base, and we do have a solid base across the nation, but the more people that can join us, the better off it is. And my grandfather said, I don't want to get anything for nothing. I want to be a part of it, and I want to be supporting that effort.
Well, and I think there's also sometimes this misconception that when you belong to a national organization like NCBA, that you're obligated to have to come to the summer meeting or the annual meeting or take part in one of the legislative fly-ins, but really you're not. Your membership dollar is going so much further than just attending a meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you at all the meetings, and that's where a lot of grassroots work get done. But it is a representative form of government. So our states that you're a member of send people that they sit on every committee that we have. Your beef council send people that sit on every checkoff committee. So if you're able to come, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful opportunity. But if you're not, if you work through your state and local organizations, your voice is going to be heard.
Jennifer, in addition to all the great policy work that the NCBA does, every single day throughout the year, both in the individual states where members reside or even back in Washington, D.C. There's also a lot of fun membership benefits that go along with NCBA membership.
Right. We have things such as you get dollars off if you buy a Ram truck, and in some of our pharmaceutical companies are some of our biggest supporters, and there's all sorts of things. Cabela's, and a lot of us buy a lot of stuff from Cabela's, and they've got a membership benefit. So there's all sorts of things. Plus, if you're able to come to, especially annual convention, there's a lot of fun fellowship, socializing, where you get to meet producers across the country. And as I travel, we're very different, but we're coming up with the same end product, and it's very interesting to find out how that happens.
Absolutely. Anything else, Jennifer, while we have you on the program that you maybe picked up in some of your travels? Because your travel schedule has picked up as an officer of the NCBA, but as you and I were talking before the interview, it's also been a lot of fun to see all these different faces and meet some new people, too.
It is. Somebody says, what do you get? I said, the most interesting thing I've ever done. And it's just so important because nobody's going to tell our story if we don't. And that, again, goes back to membership, goes back to what we can do in Washington, D.C., what we do out of our other offices, producer education, all that type thing is a part of what you get for being a member and what's available to all of our cattle producers. So, again, I can't stress enough, be involved, start at the local level. And if you're not able to come, maybe your neighbor can. I'm in a fortunate position, and it's really an honor to represent cattle producers as I go across the nation.
And we can't stress enough, thank you for stepping up to the plate and becoming a volunteer leader yourself.
Thank you.
All right, again, we've been visiting with Jennifer Houston, the NCBA's Vice President from Sweetwater, Tennessee. By the way, to learn more about the NCBA and how you too can become a member, visit beefusa.org.